guy goes, me praying she sees this thread so she can break up with me herself. Why don't guys want to break? Why is it so hard?
Bitch, what I was trying to say is this situation got me so wet and so dry at the same time. Exactly.
What's up, bitches? Welcome back to another episode of So Wet, So Dry. I'm Fiji, like the island, like the water. I like to think of myself as a digital siren, and I work in social media and marketing.
What's up, bitches? My name's Autumn, like the season, and I like to walk around my house singing English songs, but translate them to Spanish, bitch, okay? And I work in entertainment, starting a new show tomorrow. Very excited. But if you guys are tuning in for the first time, basically what we do on So Wet, So Dry is we deep dive topics based on sex, relationships, identities, and we always incorporate internet trends, pop culture, and also our community's stories and experiences. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, we post polls for every single episode we record. Head over to our Instagram at So Wet, So Dry, the O's are zeros, to join our community of confused pussies.
Yes, and we also have a contest going on our Instagram as well. The rules are on our page, but pretty much you need to follow us on Spotify, rate us on Spotify, and subscribe on YouTube.
Yes.
Each action is an entry, so if you only want to do one, you still get one entry.
Yep.
And we're pulling the winners on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and if you win, if we pull your name, you will win $100. We'll send you that, your preferred method of money. Basically, really Cash App or Zelle. We're not about to PayPal some bitch. No, we do have a PayPal, actually.
We do have a PayPal.
Yeah,
we do have a PayPal. Any method, whatever works. We're gonna pull it on Instagram live too. So tune in. Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you. We love you.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of people submitting, but not like that many where like you wouldn't have a chance. You feel me?
Right.
So like you could definitely win. So do it up, bitches.
Do it
But
up,
yeah.
hoes. All right, guys. So today we're gonna talk about that Twitter thread, the phase when you start hating your girlfriend. But before we get into all that, we're going to start the episode how we always do, talking about what we're so wet and so dry about in this very moment.
So I'll go first. This week I'm so wet. I feel like I've been talking about the dentist so much, but like I hate the dentist, bro. And like this place, I genuinely like my dentist right now. I'm like enjoying going there. Like everyone's so nice. Like they play great music. Like they're so real with you. Like I just love them. But anyways, so one of the dental hygienist assistants, I was going in for my root canal follow-up, bitch, getting my crown, princess shit, as Fiji said.
Mm-hmm.
And everything was like done, and he was just like using this big tool to scan my mouth, just to make sure everything was good. And it like literally is like, it's not the shape of a dildo, but it's like that thick. You feel me? And it's in my mouth. He's moving it around.
His big
like,
tool. Ooh.
And he like smells like a man. Like I just think he's cute. And like Fiji's like, she was just like, you don't go out much. Like she's right. And I'm like, okay, my dental hygienist. Like I'm just out here like falling for people.
You've been celibate for a minute. That's
right,
why I think you're horny. Like
I've been celibate for so long, and I'm not like mad or sad about it. Like it's not like I'm pressing to fuck someone. Would it be nice? Yeah. But I want it to happen in like a mysterious, like cool way. I'm not just gonna like go out looking for it. I don't know.
No, you've been so calm about it because when I was celibate, I was like, guys, I'm celibate. It's my 4-month anniversary. Da da da. You've been so much more chill. Like honestly,
I feel like on some sad shit. I feel like the depression like has made my sex drive low, and like I've been unemployed for the past like 2 months. So I feel like now that I'm working again, like having like my other job besides this, like I don't know, maybe I'll be trying to fuck, like, no coworkers ever again. But
yeah, no, we can't do that.
people in the real world, yeah.
Some people you
don't fuck with your coworkers, guys, because then you might have to work with them again after you break up and be really nervous about it. So
that's so crazy too, because you guys literally live like across the country from each other.
I just feel like she hates me, and I'm just terrified, but it's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm so wet because I went out last night. Like, I really had decided I wasn't going to go out for Halloween. Like, I was going to chill. I was content with it. And then my friend T texted me around like 8 o'clock and was like, oh, bitch, what are we doing? Da da da. I was like, no, I'm inside. And then I got FOMO and I was like, fuck it. All the bitches came to my spot. Like, we had fun. We got lit together. Like, it was just a vibe. Like, I haven't been like around the girls in a minute. So, like, female energy.
Yeah, you haven't.
I know.
Because you've been preoccupied, bitch, and not anymore because fuck everyone.
Yeah, fuck everyone.
Just had to sneak that in there. Okay. And for my so dry, like, honestly, I'm not really dry about anything. Like, I've been dry for a fucking 2 months, and I'm just trying to be on some positive shit. Like, I'm trying to think about it, and yeah, I'm dry about regular shit, but, like, I'm not dry, okay? I'm only wet, so.
We love that. Positive wave.
We don't always need to be so wet and so dry and so confused.
Right.
Like, we can just be one sometimes. Like,
we can be wet. It's better to be wet. Like, it's a vibe. Okay.
Stay wet.
Honestly, I'm so dry. So last week I had updated you guys on my man who's not my man. Like, we had stopped talking, like, whatever. I was still horny for the dick. He texted me. We, like, made up. We had a lot of sex. We spent a whole, like, fucking 4 days together. And then he decided to text me at 2 a.m. and essentially be like, I can't do this. It's leading into a relationship. I don't want a relationship. Like, cut me off type shit. I'm like, okay, cool. Nice text. And I saw it at, like, 8 in the morning, like, whatever. We went back and forth on the phone. Mind you, me and Autumn had a very important business call like that day that we also fucked up the time. So I'm bawling my eyes out in my bed, like breaking up with him, even though we're not together, situationship, whatever the fuck. I'm sad. I'm da-da-da, like whatever. We have to get on this business call. I like cried the rest of the day. But honestly, guys, like I'm wet about it too because I'm a bounce back bitch. Like, fuck him. He hit me up like not even 24 hours later trying to get back together on some shit. And I'm like, no, like, I'm done. I'm not playing these fucking games anymore. So, like, dry about him because I really liked him, but, like, we're not doing that, you know?
Right, and that's on growth because that's literally so fucking hard to do. Like, you guys, like, really fucked with each other. You had a connection. Like, you weren't together for that long, but you moved fast on some lesbian shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just, like, honestly, I'm so I'm in shock, honestly, because I'm just like, that's so hard. I would not be able to do that, guys. Like I said, I literally texted my ex this morning. Like, I have a disease. I'm not okay.
Not this morning, too.
I can't move on. Like, what the fuck? And like, again, if I like went outside more, it'd probably be easier. But I just like stay home and I'm just like romanticizing the past. But anyway, it's not about me. But I'm so proud of you, bro.
No, but
For
yeah,
real.
I mean, it was hard. But honestly, like after he did all that shit and then tried to come back right after, I'm like, this is just ugly to me. Like, it's so
like
unattractive. Like, you don't have your emotional shit together, and like that's giving little boy. Like, I called him daddy. Like, he was like
Little
in
Boy
my
by
mind.
Ash Nico on repeat.
Right, exactly. So goodbye, on to the next. And then when I went out last night, I had like hella dudes like try to hit at me. Like, some dude bought my fucking gum and lemonade, and I'm like, yeah, I'm that bitch. Okay.
Did
so
you
we're
give
single
anyone
again.
like a taste of the
No,
Fiji?
like I gave like a couple people my Instagram, but like it was really just on some like
Basic
I'm bored
shit.
and like
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm not gonna respond to them. You know how it
Good,
goes.
honestly though, because like sometimes like, you know, you already have to deal with the hangover from going out. And sometimes when you don't like fuck someone or like be on some crazy shit, it's like easier to just move on with your life the next day. You know?
Right. Like it was in the moment. You got lit Fiji, but you don't have access to me on a daily sober basis. So bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. So today we're talking about that viral Twitter thread, that phase when you start hating your girlfriend. This dude tweeted it. The men were all up in that shit talking about this phase. Women were tweaking out on TikTok. Women started a counter thread. People broke up with their boyfriends and girlfriends over it. Like, it was chaos. And we're a little late to the conversation because, you know, the internet moves fucking fast. And we're just trying to catch up, guys. Like, okay, I'm sorry.
Right. We're just, yeah, exactly.
We're just doing our fucking best. But anyway, we're going to start by catching you up on the Twitter thread if you guys haven't already looked at it. So
Yeah, so I'll get into it. So basically, that phase when you slowly start hating your girlfriend is crazy, which has 111.1 million views in this screenshot. 1111. What the fuck? But anyways, someone goes, this just makes me so sad. Someone goes, when you keep messing up on purpose so that she can break up with you and she keeps forgiving you.
Bro,
like that makes me so nervous because like low key, like we've both been in situations where people kept messing up and we kept forgiving them.
Oh yeah, because I feel like that's the thing. Like they be like testing you on some like game shit, but they actually hate you. Like I don't know.
And it's like, yeah, anyways, this is just terrifying. And then that same fool was like, you'll be having a bad day, and when she hugs you, it becomes even worse.
That's just evil. How is a hug?
And then someone
from your
goes,
girl?
when she sends you view once photos and you reply without opening them, I can't.
You don't even, that's shocking to me because I feel like men be visual creatures. You don't even want to see a hot selfie of your bitch. Like,
Right. And I'm also just like, why are y'all dating then? Like, honestly, makes you look crazy. Because,
Yeah.
like, why are you know what I mean? Like, you guys obviously don't care about hurting women if you're saying all this shit. So just break up with her, you fucking pussy.
and it's public on the internet. Like this one girl replied and said, "This thread is inspiring me to remain single. Men are not good people. Red flag."
No,
red flag."
literally. And I'm sorry I just said fucking pussy because pussies are strong and beautiful. I hate when, like, people use pussy in, like, that negative way. But, like, it's like, I don't know. It's
That's
ingrained.
like when people say you have like no balls. It's like balls are like soft as fuck. Balls are
And
pussy,
gross.
and pussy is balls.
Like, if I'm not in love with you, like, balls, objectively speaking, are just, like,
I like to
disgusting.
suck on the balls. I don't know.
I just have to be in love. Otherwise, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah,
And then
well.
this goes, oh, my God. Okay, so this guy goes, when you know deep down this isn't a typo. And then the screenshot is messages that says, I wish you were her. And then it's like here. Like, he meant to say here, but he's like, when this wasn't a typo. Jesus Christ.
But that's the thing. I feel like when they start hating their girlfriend, it might be because there's another bitch involved too.
Right. Which, again, break up with them. Like,
Right.
I don't understand. Like,
But the
and then
thing
this guy
is,
goes,
like, that's kind of funny. Like, I did kind of giggle at some of these, like, a little bit. But, like, obviously, it's like, I can't tell if some of them are just being internet clowns or if they're being, like, serious. Or maybe it's funny because it's true. Like,
I hope they're not being serious, but I kind of feel like they are.
They are being serious. Yeah, they're definitely being serious.
This next guy goes, when you're wondering why you have such a peaceful day and it turns out she's giving you the silent treatment. Okay. You know what this is giving? Like, if you guys hate women so much, like, are you gay?
Date your homeboys, literally.
Like, are you gay? Because, like, why do you think hating women is, like, a good look and that makes you, like, a straight fucking masculine boy? No.
See, I've never had that one happen to me, though, because I feel like every time I give a man the silent treatment, then he's, like, on my dick.
Yeah,
like, it's
and
when
they,
I'm like, you need
scared.
to do this better, like, da-da-da, then they hate me. But I feel like every time that I detach myself, they're like, come back.
Okay, maybe this is fucked up. But part of me is like, maybe the type of guys that do this shit are like guys that are like, I'm going to be really fucked up for a second. Like, say they're like a 2 out of 10. And so they can only date people that like are a 2 out of 10. So, and they want to date the fucking like Kylie Jenner bitch, but they can't. So they don't like their girl. Like, you know what I mean?
But I swear to God, like, a man gets one bad bitch and thinks he's a bad bitch. Like, I swear, and I feel like women like medium ugly to ugly men because they feel safer. So it's like, but then those medium ugly to ugly men be treating bad bitches like shit. So it doesn't make sense. I feel like it's like, even if they're a 2, they might have a bitch that's like an 8. And still treat her like shit. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, I feel like the only thing that makes sense to me is that they really just hate women and they're gay, honestly.
Yeah.
This next one goes, that phrase, when making her come is no longer a priority. The calmness after bursting the nut in less than 45 seconds. Because only your happiness matters.
No,
wow,
that's crazy.
That's
and that
very
just
direct.
Confirms shit though, because don't you be feeling like I don't know. I've had like casual sex with dudes where it's like they clearly only gave a fuck about themselves. I'm like, you actually just should have masturbated.
And, like, this is the dudes that, like, Drew Afualo, like, talks about. Like,
Yeah.
these are the type of dudes, and it's, like, I feel like even, like, your ex-boyfriend who was, like, you know, mentally, physically, everything abusive, like, I don't know, even him, I don't think he would tweet this shit so directly. Like, I don't think you and I have.
No, because he would subtweet me all the
But
fucking
he'd make
time.
it, like, poetic.
He
Like,
would
he's
make
not,
it
like, this
poetic.
guy's
and he
straight
would make
up, like.
himself seem like the victim. He wouldn't be, like, on some
Right.
shit.
Like, it's a different type of fucked up and toxic. Like, this is, like, I don't know, this is terrifying.
You know
like,
who I could see tweeting some shit like this, though? You know that one dude that I fucked with that was kind of big on a certain platform?
Yeah.
For, like, funny shit? He would definitely say some shit like this online.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. But that's what I'm saying. Like, he would do some, like, comedy shit. And I feel like it's, like, it has an ounce of truth, but I don't even know if it directly relates to him. Because he was the type of person to be soft as fuck in the text messages and, like, with me or whatever, but then I feel like front online like you're somebody else. So, like, I don't know.
And this is the reason bitches, like, say that fucked up thing of, like, okay, I'm gonna just be a lesbian, fuck men. But it's like, trust me, women are also bad, just in a different way. Like, relationships are hard, but, like, this is where that shit comes from, because what the fuck? This guy goes, this thread is evil, bro, just break up with her. Thank you. And then
from a man.
Some bad bitch said, this is why I don't date broke guys. Because facts, this energy is giving broke.
It's
like,
giving that they're mad that they can't get women, so it's like, we're gonna say all this fucked up shit.
Right. After reading the comments, I've made a decision to keep on being single. Men are heartless, literally. This guy said, you'll be wondering why your day is going so well. Can't he?
I think the original thread is from a South African guy, and it started in South Africa and then spread, like, worldwide. So maybe that's, like, a term that's, like, slang or a word.
Right, like, I'm just not hip. But yeah, basically he's like, you'll be wondering why your day is going so well, and, like, her battery died. Like, the same thing with the silent treatment one. Fucking psychos, bro. But guys, wait, I just want to say, like, before we get into the rest, like, I just like said to Fiji off camera, like, we don't need to be scared. Like, because reading this is really scary, but, like, if y'all pay attention to red flags and, like, trust your inner voice when you're talking to someone, like, you're not going to end up with a guy like this. Like, this is not the whole world, but it low-key is the majority. So we'll get back into it. So this guy goes, he goes, when you open a text thinking it's from the woman you actually want, but it's from her, break up with her.
So you're cheating on her? Like, boy, bye.
Boy, bye. And this guy said, when she asked, how was your day? Then remember it was better before she asked about it. Okay,
no, I've definitely had men fucking do that. I feel, what is it about men where it's like, you be feeling like their mom sometimes, like nagging them when you're really just asking, like, a normal fucking question about their lives.
Right, and that was, like, in our TikTok skit we just did.
Right.
Yeah, when it was like, how was your day? And the guy's just like, fine. And you're like, okay, that was it. And then they get, like, pissy. It's, like, so weird. When you don't, oh my God, I'm scared. When you have to spit on her back. No, I don't want to read this. He says, when you have to spit on her back to pretend that you came because she doesn't turn you on anymore.
No, that is insane. I feel like she would realize, like, hello.
I was like, we were worried about our energy doing this episode because this is so depressing.
Yeah.
And then this guy goes, me praying she sees this thread so she can break up with me herself. Why don't guys want to break? Why is it so hard?
Why is it so hard to just break up with her,
Do you think we're going to, like, crumble? Like, buddy, I promise you're honestly just going to fucking project her into self-love and, like,
but happiness. They don't want to do that. I swear they want to, like, keep women down.
Yeah, because you're saying all this shit, but at the end of the day, like, there's a reason you're still with her. So I'm confused. And it's giving gay. You can't come.
Oh, it's definitely giving fucking gay. It's giving gay. It's giving, like, you just want to fuck your homeboys. Like, you hate women. Like, but the craziest thing about all this to me, too, is, like, It's one thing, I feel like, because I've been in that situation before where I'm entertaining a dude and I kind of hate him, but I'm just like, need some validation and like affirmation and like whatever. But like when it's your actual girlfriend or boyfriend or your like fucking partner, that is so different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you are in a whole relationship with this person. Why don't you just break up?
And I also just feel like, you know, in the 80s, like back, like this shit was like, it would fly, you know, like it was, I just watched a movie about like time travels and it was like so like fucked up back then, you know? But it's like, I feel like this blew up because like you can't get away with saying this shit anymore. Like, yeah, maybe you'll get 1.7 million likes on your fucking misogynistic tweet, but it's like this is like viral as fuck. Like women, like, fucking responded. Like, you can't do this shit anymore. Like, I'm just like, you guys.
But the thing, too, that I was thinking about it with also, and like, tell me if, I feel like this is all in response to women talking about, oh, I just fucked him for like money, or like, oh, I just went on a date for the drinks and like da-da-da-da-da. So I feel like men get mad, but it's like, me and you are very unfiltered and talk shit about the guys that we've dated and the shit that we don't like about men and da-da-da. And I feel like also, like, even with the dude I was fucking with before, like, he would be like, that meme where, like, you tweet, fuck men, I hate men, and then you text your man, like, I love you, daddy, how was your day? You know? And I feel like that is kind of like, women kind of do it too, but I feel like it is different because there's like a power imbalance and like all of that.
And it's so funny you just said that because I swear to God, we were recording the other day and you were talking about like that guy that wanted to be your side dude, and you were kind of just like, no, like I just want him when I want him, like blah blah blah. And it's like that's essentially what these fuckers are saying, and we're getting so mad, but it has to do with like power. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like, we say all this shit about men, but it doesn't do anything. They still make more money than us. They're still respected more in all these fucking positions of power and careers. Like, they still fucking 1 out of 4 women are raped by a man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't do anything. So it's like, yeah, we can say it, but like, you guys say this shit and it actually has like repercussions because you're on top. Like,
but I also feel like it's just like different because like in intimate relationships, like women usually, I feel like, give their all and know how to be emotionally available and like commit and like all of that stuff, whereas men are just like emotionally fucking crippled. Like, that's how I felt about the dude that I was just with. I'm like, you are emotionally fucking crippled and you're toxic and you don't know how to have your shit together and you want the best of both worlds. And that's why it hits harder too, because I feel like women are like, men are shit, da-da-da, because of like in our general dating lives and like trying to find a good man and then actually like be in a relationship with them, like they do this bullshit. But for men, it's like most of the women you're talking shit on are like women that genuinely fucking love you, and that is turning you off.
Right. It's just like we give you all our love and they don't know what to do with it. That's an Ashniko line, okay? But if the best of both worlds thing is crazy because that's really what it is. They want the best of the both worlds, and it's like, you guys are not Hannah Montana. Like, this is not like, I don't know why they think, no, I do know why they think they deserve that. It's because of fucking the patriarchy. Like, it's just crazy.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I literally like, I was going to say tweeted, but I threaded that the other day because I was talking about like,
is Thread the new Twitter?
Right. I just don't like Elon Musk and X. Like, I refuse to update the app because
X.
I don't like the fucking logos.
Miss the bird. X
I like
the
in the accent color. Why does X have no fucking accent color? Whatever. But anyway, I threaded the other day and I was like, bro, like, the patriarchy is bad for men too, and it literally emotionally cripples y'all. Like, y'all can't have real ass relationships because of the patriarchy, and the patriarchy says you're not a real man and you can't have feelings. So it's like, that shit is hurting you too. So when we talk about that shit, why aren't you like, yes, I want to be a whole human? Like, I don't get that shit.
And I always fucking do this, but it's just like how like white supremacy hurts white people too.
Right.
Yes, they benefit from it and have extreme fucking privilege, unearned privilege from it, but it hurts us white people too. Like it's like they just don't the like men with the patriarchy, they don't. I feel like they just hear that and they're like, oh, just a woman being emotional, just a woman being emotional.
But then they say, like, what pisses me off is they'll be like, oh, like, we'll say something like, oh, men have to pay for dates or like da da da, and they'll be like, oh, right, because like I'm not a man if like I don't pay for the date or da 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 da. But then proceed to do all of the things under the patriarchy that we say they don't need to do. So it's like you are kind of imprisoning yourself to this identity of a fucking man or whatever when we're just saying you could be a whole human. Like, this shit is cowardly. Honestly,
it's so cowardly.
It's not manly.
I know. It's not what y'all claim to be so hard. Like, seriously, and I feel like these type of straight men, like, unfortunately, like, in a homophobic world, like, one of the worst insults you can give them is that they're giving gay.
Right.
And I feel like that's why I jump so hard to say that. And yes, I'm trying to hurt them, but also if you really think about it, they're saying that they hate women. And it's like, even the ones that are like, oh, when you get a text and you think it's the woman you want, but it's really from her. But it's like the woman you want will become her in a year from now. And you're going to get tired of her too. Like, it's not like she's the, you know what I mean? Like,
I really feel like it's also on some sad shit where it's like men don't know how to love themselves. Like, you know, like that corny ass line from like, what is it? Like Perks of Being a Wallflower that was all on Tumblr or whatever, where it's like, you accept the love you think you deserve. Like, why? Like, men can't accept love. Like, I swear to God, like, every partner that I've been with, like, I be trying to love them, and they just, like, do shit like this, tweet shit like this, and it's like, so y'all don't really want love for real.
I know. You really don't. You really don't. And it's just, like, the people that, do you think some of these people are, like, not really, like, viral? Like, some of them are just normal people, but it's like, why would you, like, put that on the internet publicly?
Yeah.
Like, any bitch in a right mind is never going to talk to you again. Especially, everyone's seen this, bro. So you're going to be single for a minute now.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing, though, too. Because, like, I really be trying to think about it from men's perspectives and stuff, too. Because it's like, a lot of the shit we say on the internet, I feel like men point to as she's never going to get a boyfriend. She's never going to da-da-da. But it's like, bro, if you pay attention to our shit, we talk about all the time how fucking much we're actually like simps and lover girls for people. But like, we just don't, like, you know, the power dynamic shit. And I don't understand why men don't like the girl math thing they got mad about, like the boy math thing they got mad about. But it's like, break it down.
I know. And duality comes into play here because it's like, we can be pissed off about the patriarchy and the systems and also be like a submissive soft girl that just wants to make her man happy. Like, those two things can fucking coexist. But to them, it just doesn't. Like, it's so crazy. Like, for the right person, you think I'm going to be like fucking bringing up this shit every 5 seconds?
But that's what I feel like they would argue too. That for the right person, they wouldn't do this. But the thing is I feel like it's, I don't know. Yeah. I'm just trying to, like, put myself in their shoes and be like, what the fuck? Like, what? I don't know.
But it's like, for the right person, we wouldn't do this because, like, they're already hip. We don't need to educate them. Like, it doesn't just go away. Like, I don't know.
Okay, guys. So let's get into our polls because, you know, we had to see what y'all think about this topic. And first, we asked the men, have you ever experienced the phase where you start hating your girlfriend? And it was pretty close, but 59% said yes and 41% said no.
I just think it's terrifying, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, like, I feel like some guys said no because we do have a good amount of, like, solid men that follow us, especially on the, like, So Wet, So Dry Instagram. Like, I feel like our men confused pussies or, like, mask identifying confused pussies, really, like, they be the good ones.
I know. So it's like, yeah, and our scale is obviously not big, right? So it's not like this is the universal, but it's just interesting. Like, our small community, like, this is what they said. So, and I feel like it's like, is it normal to, like, get bored of your partner when you're together for a long time? Yes. Is it normal for men to hate women and tweet these things? And, like, this is, like, with every girlfriend? Like, that's my thing. Like, we'll get into our own experiences, but I'm just, like, I don't know. I have a lot to say. But, and then the next poll.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. We asked women also, have you experienced that phase? And 67% said yes, and no says 33%. It's fine. Women should hate all men. I'm just kidding, you guys. I'm trying to make people mad. But I'm like, that makes sense. Like, if they're straight women, yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Honestly, more women I saw responding to it. Like, I was kind of surprised because, like, but I also don't know if everyone knew about the thread because we had these polls first before the thread. So some people might just be like, oh, that phase, yeah, and then you break up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that phase where you start to lose feelings and, like, it's kind of whatever and they're annoying you and then you break up.
Right.
But, like, what was crazy about the thread is the people that be fucking staying.
Right. And my best friend that, like, I met when I was younger, whatever, she voted that she has experienced this phase. And this bitch, she honestly, every person she's ever with, she always would get bored of them at the end. Like, always. But it's like, that's different. Like, that's her. Like, she needs to, like, figure out why that is. And she breaks up with them. You know what I mean? So it's true. Like, I feel like it's not wrong to have the phase of getting bored of your partner. Like, that is a thing. But what you do with it, that's when it gets fucked up or healthy.
Yeah, because, like, honestly, but I don't know, because I feel like, well, one, with my abusive relationship, I feel like I stayed in that while I hated him for a while.
Right.
But it was harder to leave.
But it's different.
It was different. We lived together, like, the power dynamics, whatever. But, like, I do think I have stayed in other relationships with people. I wouldn't say when I started hating them, but when I probably knew the relationship should be over, but because my emotional maturity was not at a point where I could, like, leave the situation, you know? I really think it's emotional fucking maturity.
I think with girlfriend number 1 for me and girlfriend number 2 and then the guy I dated, I never started hating them, bro. Ever.
Yeah.
I was
and that you're a ride or die, and that's how I feel too. Like, I could hate, even with the last guy I was seeing, like, you know, there were certain things about him. I definitely can't date him, and I low-key hate these things about him. But at the same time, I was willing to make them work if he wanted to work on them, because that's, like, what a fucking partnership is. Like, you're gonna not like things about a person, but, like, you're gonna come to a happy medium and, like, work on them. But that's just, like, I feel like you've been there too. Like, we're just, like, down bitches and we know how to do relationships.
Right.
It's not like you start whereas I feel like with men, and even him, because we started to get into this, like, point where shit was just, like, iffy. And I feel like he knew that he didn't want to be with me for a while and started, like, having an attitude and doing all this stuff and, like, da-da-da. It's like, bro, like, you either fix it or you end it. Like, that's just...
I know. And it's also, like, my longest relationship was, like, about, like, 3-ish years, but, like, it was also open and it was kind of chaotic. Like, I've never had, like, a steady, like, 3-year relationship where it's, like, you get bored, like, you move in together and, like, the sex isn't exciting. Because, like, that shit's normal. It's, like, obviously, like, new people gives you, like, an adrenaline rush. And if, like, and not to say you can't make it exciting and work on it, you definitely can. But just, like, fucking scientifically, like, our parts get bored of each other, you know?
Right.
But it's just, like, I don't think I've ever been in that experience. Like, I've never had that. Because it's always just been some chaotic shit or it, like, ended. Like, I don't know.
But that's, like, again, I think it's just, like, women's emotional maturity. Like, we know that it's, like, with most people. Because I think we have solid female friendships. Where it's like, there'll be times where, like, me and you will butt heads and be, like, irritated with each other, but we know that that's just, like, some normal shit. And then, like, the next day we'll be cool and, like, whatever. Like, we know how to, like, get over things. Yeah. Where I feel like men don't know how to, like, if it seems like too much work or if they seem nagging or if whatever, they're just like, I don't want this. I don't know how to move past
Because you think about, like, what the thing is that's pissing you off and, like, how small it is and then, like, how much love you have for that person, like, all the good times you have, like, all the parts that you are on the same page. So it's, like, that outweighs it, and then you just move on.
Or you have a conversation about it, and you're like, okay, I didn't like that you did this, or your attitude, like, check that, like, da-da-da. Like, you work through it versus being, like, I'm just avoiding it completely, which is what I feel like men do a lot of times.
Right, and then they get on the internet and tweet shit like this. Right. Like, that's their therapy. Like, that's how they let it out.
I'm saying, like, it's weird because in a way... part of me is like, I feel like it's good because we can see what men are tweeting and it's like public and we're like, okay, like,
confirming what we already know.
It's confirming what we already fucking know, but it's like, I don't get it because they still don't really talk to their homeboys about shit or like whatever. Like, do they have these conversations or did everyone just feel the need to tweet all this shit because they never talk about it and now
I
they
don't
have
think
this
we'll
public
ever know about
place.
the homeboys because we're not in the room. Like,
I know.
we can guess, like we can, but we'll never know what they talk about. Bro, like I would kill to see my ex-boyfriend talk about me to his friends
Oh
and
my
just see
God.
what comes out of his mouth. Like maybe even nothing. Like I don't know.
But that's the thing, because I was actually just listening to Sophia with an F while I was getting ready, like the podcast.
Of course
and
you
she
were.
had two dudes on. They're like comedians. I forget who they are, honestly. But she was asking them, like, after a date or like whatever, like, what do they like text their friends about and like whatever. And they were just saying like nothing. Like, yeah, it was good. Like, that's all they say. They said the only time they ever like tell their homeboys about something is if they got like a crazy ass DM from a girl that's like her fucking vagina or something like that. Then they'll say something. Like, they don't share shit.
Yeah. We should honestly, like, as y'all know or might not know, like in the future, So Wet So Dry is definitely gonna have like guests and like series of like episodes with guests and stuff. Like a great topic. Like honestly, even just not even on the podcast, I just want to know so bad. Like if we have a guest with like two guys or one guy, like the topic could be like, what do you guys talk about when women aren't around? Like, you know, and like hopefully they just open
but
up.
I feel like they don't be wanting to like share with us because they be like, but that's the crazy thing about the internet, because like even TikTok, when you think about like all those like funny TikToks that women post or like crying about their situationship or like whatever, like we all have similar experiences and we know it because we talk to our homegirls.
Right.
But like now it's like more on the internet so men see it. But now we're kind of seeing into like what their conversations are like a little bit. But
I feel like men talking about this thread, they just be like laughing and not saying anything. Like they're actually all so stupid.
They're so stupid. But anyway, the next one, we asked you guys, why did you start hating them? We were really trying to get to the core reason.
Per usual.
The top two were tied. It's honestly like all pretty like somewhat spread even. But the top two were they fucked up and you became resentful at 32%. And then tied at 32% is also they stopped putting in effort. And those are the two that just make the most sense. Like that's leading into you're about to break up.
Right. And I just feel like they fucked up and you became resentful. Like I feel like that's in those types of relationships where it's like we said, like talked about at the beginning, like when you keep forgiving them and they keep fucking up. Like, you can forgive them as much as you want and want to make it work. But at the end of the day, like, the amount of those times, like, eventually will lead you to, like, leave or, like, you know what I mean? Like, it builds up. So, like, that makes sense. And, like, that's, like, healthy in a way. Like, you should become resentful, you know?
That's, like, every time that I started hating my partner, like, hating whatever, is because of, like, with my ex, like, when he cheated or, like, when he, like, did abuse me or like whatever. Even with this guy, it's like when we would get into arguments and he wasn't putting in the effort, like everything was because they fucked up and I became resentful. And I think you too, like I remember when like you were like hidden from his stories or like whatever, like it was just like driving you to go crazy.
And like you were hidden too. Like this man really hid my roommate, you, like he put some thought into it. Probably my sister, because my sister followed him because she's. But yeah, being hidden from stories is extremely not fun, especially when you're in an open relationship and you let your partner do shit.
But it's like you could still just make a burner and look at it anyway, like.
Right. I'm like, boy, I have so many accounts. Like, I do this for work. Stop.
Right.
Anyways,
like,
but
you're
like,
not fucking private. Like, bye.
Yeah. And then I was like, the sex wasn't exciting anymore, 15%. Like, I feel like that's like, you know, we were talking about like that phase when you get bored and your parts aren't into each other. But I feel like people are kind of catching on to what this really is. Like, it's not just the bored sex phase, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. Like, if you're in a relationship and the sex is boring, like literally go to Jamaica, fuck this bitch on a balcony. And I promise you, like sometimes like, it is
bring
about
some
environment.
Toys in, like go to a strip club, talk about a threesome, like. But that's the thing. That's like that comes with having a healthy partnership. And I feel like for guys to be like, oh, when you're not even turned on by her anymore and you just spit on her back to make it seem like you come, like that is just showing that you're not like sexually mature enough to be like, oh, let's switch things up. Like
that one might be the worst.
I guarantee you, like I don't know, because I feel like I definitely like with my ex when things got bad and I started resenting him, like our sex got bad because like I just couldn't like whatever, and it would like hurt my feelings,
And he
even
knew,
though I
like
was
he could
part
tell
of the,
you weren't.
yeah, it would hurt his feelings because he'd be like, you're not even into it, whatever, because my mind is crazy. But then it would also hurt my feelings because I'm like, just put it past, like, let's just try to get through it type shit. If you're sexually mature enough, you could be like, hey babe,
Right.
like I've noticed our sex compatibility isn't as good, or like when you do this it doesn't turn me on, like maybe you should do this instead, like whatever. And like that's being sexually mature. And honestly, I don't know if I'm like completely there, because I definitely have been like sensitive as fuck in times where like, you know,
Because women will like, and I think guys think like they're kind of scared to do that too, because they know like maybe like that is something women would
like
get emotional about.
rightfully so, but like
Rightfully so, yeah. Because back when I was dating my ex, like we had just got done having sex, and he like came to me like in a really like low key, respectful way and like nice, and he was like, "Babe, like I noticed like a smell. Like, are you okay? Like something like a different type of smell coming. Like, is everything okay?" And I lost it. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I started crying immediately.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. The tears just immediately dripped down. And mind you, like, I was crying around him a lot. So, like, it was kind of just like, but he was like being respectful. And he was like, what? Like, I can't have a mature relationship with my partner. Like, I'm just trying to make sure you're good. Like, I'm not grossed out
because
by you.
he probably did know too, like men's dicks, and if they come in you, and like condoms, all of that can throw off your pH. Like
Right.
all of that can contribute to the reason
And
why.
this man was coming in me constantly,
right,
bro.
so he probably like I feel like he meant it from like a genuine place. But
Right.
I feel the same way, because like I've had my part, like I've wanted to have sex with my partner and they've been like and I've literally thrown tantrums. But I feel like obviously we as women need to fucking grow more maturely about this shit, but also like
bit,
I
yeah.
feel like we put so much of our worth into our like sexuality, because that's what
it
gets
is.
men all the time, is like, oh my god, like she's hot, I want to fuck her. So if someone or your partner says anything to say that you're not like desirable or sexy, or there's something wrong with you, you immediately feel like you're fucking nothing.
Yeah, and like also like he's just gonna go fuck someone else and like love the way her pussy smells. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was giving, and like
Yeah.
we were open, so he did go do that. Like
Yeah.
it, there's a lot of layers, but at the end of the day, like I hope that if I was like dating someone else and like we were in a better place, that I wouldn't have like immediately cried like that. But I can't say for sure. But I think you really hit the nail on the fucking whatever that saying is, because it's really just like. It's like all guys want is sex. That's what we're told. All they want is sex, and now I can't even do that right. You know what I mean?
And especially if the rest of the relationship, and that was the thing with my ex, like things were so bad between us emotionally that I wanted, even though I wasn't completely into the sex at that moment, and he could tell, he would be like, I'm not even making you come, like let's just stop. And I'd be like, no, like we need to keep going, because
I remember that.
I'm used to not coming, and like I'm used to like pushing through that time and like whatever. But like for him, it's like in a weird way, it's also kind of respectful, because it's like, look, like I know you're not in that place.
Right, but you're like, no, stop. I remember you telling me that so much. Like you would try so hard to like keep it going, make it interesting, like find something where it's like the whole else relationship is shit. Like, can I at least get some good sex?
Right.
Like, the fuck?
Right. But it's like, I do think, like, and it's hard, because I do feel like we as women are just sensitive. Like, I hate the stereotype that, like, women are more sensitive, da-da-da. But, like, it does come from society and the pressures that are put on us, and, like, so much of our weight being in, like, sexuality, that it's, like, a little bit harder. But, like, if you have a healthy relationship, I don't think either of us have been in, like, a completely healthy relationship, because even though he said that in a healthy way, and maybe my partner had like healthy intentions with what he was saying, like the rest of the relationship was not fucking healthy.
Right. Like it was like little spritz, you know what I mean? Like I think like I've had time periods where the relationship was healthy, but it's like if you look at all of the factors overall at the end of relationship, like yeah, it was like my mom always says, it was a painting, you hang it on the wall, you move on, bitch. We're not repeating any of that. But I feel like in the same note where it's like, because not all women are sensitive. It is a science thing, but it's like women that like aren't sensitive like that also get criticized. We get
Yeah.
criticized for being too sensitive. Like it's a fucking, like you always talk about, like you feel like you might be more dominant and you get like, so
Right.
it's just exhausting. Like we can never win, you guys. So just fucking be a slut, have fun. I don't know.
Right, right.
But, and then this last one is like, why'd you start hating them? They got annoying. And like, I get that. And I feel like that's just like, it's time to break up. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like also you spend a lot of time with someone, like they can get annoying. Like their little quirks start to piss you off. Like the way they sneeze specifically. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
You're always going to think you're like, especially when I lived with my ex, beyond all of the like toxic shit, like sometimes he would just do shit and I'm like, ew, like you're in my space. Like I just need to be alone. Like that's like normal.
Like that.
There's like a healthy amount of like annoyance, but you just need to recognize that and be like, okay, like I need to be by myself. But I think men get annoyed by like women nagging them, I feel like is a big thing. But it's, you know, like, I don't know, that whole like nagging thing, but it's because they're not showing up in the relationship completely, but like maybe they just need to take more alone time because men don't like to talk about their feelings. They don't like to be pressured into shit. Da, 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 da. I don't know.
Like grow up. Grow the fuck up.
Literally.
Seriously.
And be like, you could, in a healthy way, if you're feeling like that, if there's any men listening, which I doubt.
Hi.
I fucking doubt.
You trying to fuck?
Anytime.
You see, like I fuck with y'all. Like,
yeah, y'all that be listening, like you are so much more likely to have your dick sucked. But anyway, if you are listening as a man, like I feel like the thing is that we are like women, I feel like just like are emotionally like we understand shit. And if you say shit in the right way, we're gonna get it. Like if my partner was like, babe, I want to love you, but like I need 2 days to just focus on me right now because like everything you're doing is pissing me off and it's not even about you. It's just about me being emotionally in check. I'd be like, I get it.
You'd be like, I get it, but at the end of the day, it's like men are afraid to do that because they think they're going to hurt us. Will it hurt? Yes. And that's okay.
And
like,
that's
it can hurt. Like, at the end of the day, like, but then in those 2 days and in weeks to come, it gets better. I would rather hurt for a little bit, be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But you're getting what you need. Like, I'm never going to stop you from that. Like, we're not psychos. Like, I'm just like, it's like we can get where men are coming from and it also hurt us at the same time.
Yeah, because women, I feel like we deal with our emotions.
Right.
And I feel like part of it is because like I think, again, biology, whatever, we have our periods where we get emotional for no fucking reason. The world is ending. And then you got your period and you're like, oh, like, I'm going to be okay. Like, our hormones are just, like, kind of all over the place, like, whatever. But, like, everyone is. It's not just, like, your hormones and your periods. Like, everyone has emotional up and downs. But I feel like men, just because of the patriarchy or whatever, they, like, push everything away instead of dealing with it and then just create more bad shit. I don't know.
I know. And that's also where you get, like, sassy men and shit like that. You know, and it's, like, do women handle their emotions 100% like in healthy ways? Like, no, we don't. But like at the end of the day, it's like we're not numbing it like y'all are.
Yeah, we know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're gonna talk to our homegirls about it. We're gonna cry. We're gonna be a mess, and then
we're gonna laugh manically.
We work through our emotions versus stuffing them all inside of ourselves. But yeah, okay, the last poll that we asked you guys is, did the Twitter thread piss you off? And this one was 50-50. It was really half of you said, yes, the fuck it did. And the other half of you was like, no, I get it. And honestly, I can understand why people get it. But I hope that they get it and they do like what we said, break up with
But what
them.
the fuck get it? By spitting on someone's back and pretending it's cum, you get that? Like,
but
what
maybe
do you
they just get the original tweet in itself.
Okay.
Because think about the original tweet. That phase when you start hating your girlfriend is crazy. Is that a phase and is it crazy? Yes. But everything under that was insane. So it's like, I get like you being like, no, I get that phase. And I get feeling crazy because, like, you hate your partner right now. But, like, all the extra shit in the replies was kind of like...
What I don't get is why men are so fucking immature that y'all would take time out of your day to even, like, make this a thing. Like, break up with your girlfriend, accept that you're a gay man, and move on. Like, seriously.
Yeah, honestly.
Stop hating women. Like, you, bro, like, I can't see past it. The original tweet is dead to me. I don't care about the original tweet because everything under it clouded me.
Yeah. I think they hate themselves. I really think they hate themselves, and they're jealous of women. I think they're jealous of women because we are just so much beyond their fucking
We
years.
haven't brought that up. Jealousy is huge.
Yeah.
They're so jealous of women that, like, first of all, like we're literally the most, like, appealing beings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, even animals that are females, like, they're just better. Like, nah, yeah. I shouldn't have said that. It's not true. I don't know. But, like, I don't know. I feel like they are really jealous. I feel like a lot of men also, like, wish that they could make money off of their body. Like, my ex-boyfriend has literally said that. He was like, if I was a woman, I would 100% be in the strip club, right, like, shaking ass. Like,
but they don't understand all the bad shit that comes with being a woman.
Comes
they
with
just
it.
see the good shit because they're like, oh, imagine if I walked outside and I had 5 bitches trying to get at me. They would be like, this is like, I'm the man. Like, this is heaven, da-da-da. But they don't realize that, like, the bad shit that comes with that. You know, they just see women like, oh, you know, you get people to buy your drinks. Oh, you get complimented all the time. Oh, you have people thirsting in your DMs, like, da-da-da-da.
Right. And, like, men just, like, they love to be outside in the streets. It's like walking alone at night for women just, like, simply isn't an option. Like, it's just not. And it's like, I've never thought that was something that I would go do. That's just not a thing. Like, we're terrified.
I mean,
like,
I do it, but, like, I'd be scared the whole time.
Yeah, because you be on that, like, you're like, ready to use the other day, like, the other episode, she's like, can I stab someone with my nails? Like, she be ready, though. Like, she be thinking about it.
I'd be walking home from yoga at night, and I'd be kind of paranoid because there have been, like, murders in this area. Like,
bitch, how late? Not after a 9 p.m. class, I hope.
No, like a 7:15 class. So, like, I'm giving people my fucking routine. So if you want to kill me, like, that's where I'll be. But
bitch. Okay, we're cutting that. No, we'll keep it in. But, like,
we'll keep it in. But no, like, I'd be paranoid, but my thing is, like, and this is maybe, like, the, like, I don't know, because I feel like I want to live in a society where I don't need to be scared or whatever, so I'm going to just be delusional enough and be like, it's fine, I will be fine, like, whatever. Like, I'm not going to let the patriarchy keep me from, like, living a life equal to men. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's how I be thinking, but maybe that'll be how I go out. If I did, just know I don't give a fuck because I want to live my life how I want to live it, okay?
And that's some bad bitch energy. Like, is it safe? No. Is it bad bitch energy?
I know everyone I tell is like, do you have pepper spray? Do you
like,
no,
especially
bitch, I got my
who gets like so much attention? Like, either if it's just like your style or your hair, they want to fuck you. Like, it's just exhausting, honestly.
I just believe in myself enough to be like, I will kill someone, or I can run. I was a sprinter in high school. Like, I'm good.
A bitch can run fast.
I can run fast. Like, fuck.
I can't. Like, I'm done.
But like, you know, like, I had taken this like personality test as like a tangent, whatever. But like, you know how there's like responses to dangerous situations? There's either fight, flight, and I forgot about fawn. Because I'm 50% fight and 50% fawn. Fawn is essentially flirting your way out of the conversation or like making them feel good so that you can like escape it. Like, it's kind of bimbo shit.
Okay.
So it's like, I feel like you could definitely do that. You could be like, oh no, like I
feel like I'm 100% flight. I'm a scaredy cat.
I feel like you fawn though.
I'd be funny. Maybe.
Fun. Okay, so I just want to transition us into talking a little bit about the importance of context with this tweet, because as much as we can be like, fuck all men, like we hate all men and like everything like that, like I do still think that there are a good portion. Like we said, men who are listening to this episode, by default, I'm going to say you're better than the rest of the fucking men on the earth.
Right.
But it's important to know like who this tweet comes from and what his audience is, because, you know, I was like, who is this guy? Why did this go viral? So the dude's name is Skit Guru with the I being a 1. And I don't want to like promote him by any means, because I also realize by us even talking about this thread, it's going to give the thread more views. But I hope that we're talking about it in a constructive way, not like being like, go follow this guy.
Don't go follow this guy.
Don't go follow this guy. But anyway, he is from, I did some creeping on his account. He appears to be from South Africa. The rest of his Twitter is pretty much just him being a soccer and rugby fan / maybe player. And his tweets include pretty much everything about sports and also hating on women. So he is kind of, I would say, falls into the Andrew Tate genre, which makes this even more, relevant.
But
so,
it makes sense. Like, of course he does.
It makes fucking sense. So, like, because I was trying to figure out, is this just one of those, like, funny, relatable tweets from a person? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it just like, okay, they're doing this and then they're going to break up with them? I feel like the reason that there were so many bad responses is because that's the kind of audience that this guy has, and it's pulling those people out. Like, it's in their algorithm. So I think it's important to pay attention to that too, because, like, as much as I think that there's something wrong with all men in America and the world, just like there's something wrong with all white people.
All
like,
white
you need
people,
to unlearn
exactly.
it. Like, whatever.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Like, you need to unlearn it. But, like, I do believe, I feel like if I don't believe it, I'm going to fucking go insane, that there are good men out there trying to unlearn this shit. But anyway, so some of his other tweets as evidence of this woman hating shit is he tweeted, "A woman having no father is a deal breaker."
Which is blasphemy.
Like, I'm sorry, you came out the womb. You have no control over that. That has nothing to do with the woman, girl, baby. That's not her fault.
And that's on the fucking stigma around daddy issues.
Right.
Like, and daddy issues is trendy. It's like slutty, like type shit. Like, where it's like everyone has daddy issues because no relationship with your parent is fucking perfect.
Right.
First of all.
Right.
Like, you and like, what's your relationship like with your mom? Like, do you
or
call
like,
her?
and half of these men I feel like don't have fathers in their lives either. So it's like, what do you fucking mean? Like, you could have
I know.
daddy
What
issues,
if you have?
but women
Yeah,
can't?
And your dad died? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of fucked
It
up.
makes no sense. Another one of his tweets says, "Waking up one day and deciding to settle down and have a family is a privilege every man has. No one can ever take it away from you. On the other hand, women just gotta wait and hope they get picked. We are the prize, gents. Never forget that."
Wait and hope they get picked is crazy. And it just reminded me of a traumatic memory, actually. I was dating my ex, and we were in the club. Like, we never went out together. But this one night, I went with my friend. He went with his friends, and we all, like, met up. Yeah, this was like a once-in-a-blue-moon thing. Never happened again. It went horribly. But anyways, you know me. Like, I be on some shit. Like, he was, like, talking to people. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go, like, hoe it up in the dance floor. And so me and my friend were just, like, walking around, like, scoping the surroundings. You feel me? And then after, he's like, "Where you been?" Like, it's been like an hour and a half. I was like, I was just like out there. And he's like, "Yeah, you're waiting to get picked, aren't you?" I was like, "No, sir.
I'm
like,
trying to enjoy my night out. Like,
what is the waiting? I'm like, "Oh, because I'm so lucky to fucking go to this club rat that fucking, you know what I mean? Like, calm down.
but
You're
and
waiting
I feel like
to
that's
get picked."
like how. But I also do feel like it's a response. Like, I feel like women are changing in this shit just with like how much women be talking on TikTok and like congregating. Because you know how we be where we're like, oh, like we say we're not going to go back to him, to our homegirls, and then we go back to him, like whatever. But like now that there's like these podcasts and these YouTube channels and these TikToks
Right.
where we're all like, where women can kind of congregate and just be like,
Right.
like we deserve better in general. Like, I do feel like it is part of our responsibility to be like, we're not tolerating this shit anymore, because I do feel like the way the power imbalance is right now, men do decide who they're going to settle down with and when. Like, don't you think it's a thing where it's like a man has to go through like 2 relationships-ish before he uses those women to become a good man, and then will be ready by the 5th one? Like, I think about that all the time. Like, all the guys I've been with, I was really their first girlfriend. And I feel like I was never going to be the one for them because they needed the experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like sad but true. Yeah.
It's like fucked up but true. But like, I still feel like for men to like think that and like be okay with that, like, it's just like, I get like wanting to hype up your boys and be like, like, you're a dope guy, like, fuck these women. Sometimes you need to do that. Like, sometimes you need to do that if you're heartbroken. Like, that's normal. Like, have your homeboys, like, whatever. But, like,
it's the amount of times, and, like, these people, like, it's like a lifestyle for them, like hating
Right.
women like this, you know?
And like to think women aren't the prize either. Like I want to think like we're both the prize. Like I feel like I'm a prize, but also like the man I end up with, like he's a prize too. But like I'm a fucking prize. Like what do you mean?
No, at the end of the day, we are the prize.
Yeah.
And y'all fucking know that. Like, come on. Like, you don't put your worth into how bad your bitch is. Like,
Oh
that
my
just
God.
proves
So
that
much
we're
of
the
their
prize.
worth, because they be getting so, like I said earlier, when they fuck with a bad bitch, they think that they're doper. Like they, and then they think they can fuck with other bad bitches. Like,
and then they fuck it up. Yeah,
and then they fuck it up. And then the last tweet of his that I have screenshotted is women having standards is one of the biggest lies that N-word men have been forced to believe. These people set boundaries for the men they don't like and break them for the men they do.
These people set up boundaries for the men they don't like and break them for the men they do. Okay, let's just take a minute because I'm like, when you said like, you know, we can't enable the shit and be part of the problem. Like, I feel like us, how we said, like the forgiving and then you become resentful. Like we are enabling, like I'll speak for myself, like with my ex, like all the hidden stories and lies. And I still was like, you're just showing them that like they can do that and get away with it. Yeah. So it's like our therapist would tell us like, that's on us. You know what I mean?
And that's exactly what my therapist told me with the dude I was talking to. I was like, well, what if he like texts me again? Like, what do I do? And she was like, no, because he will text you again because he wants you where he wants you. And that's not changing. Like, he's not going to become an emotionally mature person in a week. It is up to you to set that boundary. And like a lot of us, I feel like we see like men run away when things get hard and then they come back and we accept them because we think that they're going to change. But then we're like, you know, and I feel like I am kind of guilty of this to a point too, because I do feel like even the dude I was talking to you about earlier, like he was like being on some very like motivational type of like, you know, if no one's told you they're proud of you, like I want to tell you I'm proud of you and like whatever. Like he was just very like, and I don't like him, but it's like I also don't feel like a connection with him. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Like I think the problem is like when in love happens and love becomes involved, the standards get clouded. And I think maturity is not letting standards get clouded and being in love.
Right.
And I don't think women our age are there yet because that's so hard, especially people that like say like, you know, there's types of people that like kind of love harder than others. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we all love as much as, you know, we can, but I feel like some people are just like, they have the romantic sim trait. You know what I mean? Like if you guys are hip to the Sims 4, and I'm just like, and I just think it's hard. Like it gets clouded. So it's not like the first part of the sentence, women having standards is one of the biggest lies that dudes have been forced to believe is trash. Yeah. But he's low-key onto something for the second. But why does he have to say these people? Like what, women, you mean?
Yeah, and it's like agreed, we do set up boundaries for the men that we don't like. Obviously, you need to set up boundaries for everyone. Do we be breaking those for the men that we're in love with and we want something for? Because we try to meet them in the middle, unfortunately, but they take advantage of it. And that's the saddest part. And that's the biggest gap, I feel like, is that men, like, they're like, oh, like at the end of the day, like, you know, women just want you for your money and this and that. And it's like, no, because we have been hurt by a good amount of men that we've put our whole heart into and that have left us fucking destroyed. So it's like we slowly raise our standards, like whatever, and like put up boundaries. But like even when we put up boundaries for the men that we love, they break them. And we have this hope that they're going to change and be better, you know? And like...
And the whole, like, they got mad because women are like, we're going to use them for drinks and money. It's like, that right there is the patriarchy. And like what we said at the beginning, the patriarchy hurts men too. The reason that whole thing is a thing is because y'all, the pay gap. Yeah. Like that's why it's like you buy the drink, you pay for the dinner, because statistically you make more money. Right. And so it's like we're mad about the patriarchy. Y'all are mad too because you don't want to be the ones that are assumed to have all the money. So it's like we're both mad at the same thing.
But I
like,
also feel like that's like you say women have no standards, but it's like when women come to you with standards, you're mad about it. But it's like
you're like, oh, she's like, it's too much. Like she thinks too high of herself, blah, blah, blah.
But so what do you want? Do you want us to have no
Right.
standards, or do you want us to have standards? Because when we do have standards, and in a good way, it like weeds out all the bad men. But this guy, it just like, it also just seems like he's clearly been hurt and not picked and whatever before.
Right.
So it's like you like hate on a lot of women. And I mean, like we hate on men because we've been hurt and like whatever too. But like, I swear, women just know how to do relationships so much better. Women know how to love. Like,
right.
Do men know
and
how to
nurture,
love?
respect. Like, it's just, and it's like there's toxic and abusive women out there.
Yes.
For sure. You know what I mean? Like, well, this is like a very like straight thread, obviously, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not mad about it, but it's like to bring in like queerness, like even like a lot of our listeners like are queer. A lot of people that vote in our polls are queer. And I feel like this whole like phase of hating your girlfriend, your partner, like it's definitely talked about less and like happens less in the queer, at least like women loving women community. Cause I can't speak to like gay men and you know what I mean? But like, I don't know. And I think it's because of what you're saying. Like women know how to love better. So
And
it's
be
just,
emotionally mature and talk about our feelings and like.
Right. That's what a relationship is. It's communicating
is.
feelings. Like, and y'all can't do that. So you just hit it and quit it. You fuck up repeatedly on purpose so she'll leave you, apparently. Like, what is that?
That's like
damn.
such cowardly ass shit.
Yeah.
That's not being a man. That's being a fucking coward. So, like, when y'all realize that, I don't know.
Okay, so moving on, we want to talk a little bit about the backlash from women. Specifically, this was like a big trend on TikTok. And, it's like a lot of women were like, I'm just going to be single, like that type of shit. Like maybe they want to go gay. I don't know. And then I saw this TikTok. I can't like remember, like I don't know where it is. Like I'm not going to have it linked, when you're just like scrolling through, like it lost, you know what I mean? But basically one girl, like her current partner had like liked a tweet in like the thread and like liked the specific tweet and everything. And she confronted him about it. And he was basically just like, oh, like, here you go again. Like, all that shit. Like, you're being emotional. You're being
gaslighting her.
Right. And then she literally fucking, like, left him because of it. And it definitely, like, because this was trending so hard on TikTok, like, inspired other women to, like, low-key do the same. You know what I mean? Like, if your man is liking this thread and, like, all these specific horrible things, like, you really want to be with him? Like, even in our polls, there's this one guy that I flirt with kind of consistently. I low-key, it's done for him, bro. Based on his answers, he's done. I'm like,
I feel like
dry.
that's why the guy that I was talking to would never vote in our polls. And that's part of the reason I was like damn near close to cutting him off. Because I'm like, why aren't you voting in our polls? And he's like, oh, because we would talk about it. But I'm like, I feel like some guys don't vote because they don't want us to see how they really feel.
But this guy obviously doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck. One thing I am guilty of, bro, I stalk men's Twitters. If you're ever a man I fucked with, I will stalk your Twitter and especially your likes. I'm looking through your TikTok likes. I don't give a fuck because I feel like a lot of men be like liking shit but not retweeting it. And I'm like, I have a little glimpse into, how you think about it.
I wish we weren't even allowed to see that because it's like too tempting.
You can't on Threads.
You can't?
You can't on Threads.
Okay, good. I like how Instagram does that. Like, can it be private? Like, type
no, that's the worst when you're scrolling and you're like, this person liked someone's picture. I'm like, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't fucking tell me. But anyway, there was another TikTok too. When I just searched like that phase when you start hating your girlfriend on TikTok, the biggest one, like the first one that came up had 4.5 million views. And it's this woman at Mika98. I'll tag it in the description. But she pretty much like showed the thread and like talked about like why this is bad and what it's showing. And she gave 4 points on what it's showing. And I just want to talk about them because it's kind of like everything we've been saying. But the first one is that men cannot be alone, that they don't know how to be alone. And that's what this is showing, is that they don't know how to break up with their partners because they need the validation of being with someone and they're not emotionally mature enough to leave them.
Yeah.
Like, so on point. The second thing she said is that men pursue relationships with the intent to control and subjugate. Like, unfortunately, literally, like, they want to be in control and they don't like any woman.
Like the prize shit. Like, they're the prize.
And they don't want women to, like, nag them about things or ask for things. Like, they just want to always be in the positions of power. Like, they're not coming from a place of love and intimacy. They're coming from a place of, like, power and control. And that's really fucking sad.
Whereas when women, quote unquote, nag, they are coming from a place of, like, I want you to get better. I want you to get this done. I want us to build our connection and do this special thing together. Like, it's not nagging. They just see it as that because they're so misogynistic and look at women just like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, and that's part of, like, before I get into the other two too, like, one thing she said before all of this is kind of what we were also saying about how, like, we want to know what men are talking about, like, when we're not around with their homeboys and, like, whatever. And, like, a lot of times we're like, oh, they don't talk about anything because they really say that they don't talk about anything. And a lot of times I don't think that they do.
And they're like
right. But the internet is, and with all these male podcasts that we see popping up and shit like that, like, we see these spaces where men are creating safe spaces for men to voice, like, what they be dealing with in relationships. And in a way, I'm like, yes, men do need that. They need their, like, I'm not against men having podcasts where they talk about, no, I'm not against it as long as, because I've seen some, there's one guy, I forget his name, I'll try to find it and tag it in the description, but he be speaking to men and women. But, like, there be some with men where they are really healthy and I feel like they're helping. But there's a lot, like, Fresh and Fit, they got, like, demonetized on YouTube. Like, Andrew Tate, like, they literally, like, they're just breeding, like, women haters and incels. And, like, it's like, that's not a safe space for men to come together and grow. It's a space to hate on women.
And also, like, those types of men, like, that are saying these things, they're not having a podcast to, like, grow and have therapy. Like, they're doing it to fucking, like, get attention. You know what I mean? And, like, create an army of men and, like, be like, men, you can do this. Like, it's okay. Don't let, you know, this 2023 time, like, make you, you know what I mean? So it's just like, but yeah, I mean, I believe there are, you know, men with podcasts that are good, but I just am choosing to live by the rule that I don't think they should have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think, like, they should, but they should also allow spaces for women to come in and teach them things.
Yeah,
and I feel
and
like
not
the best
them.
the best male podcasts have women on them or have learned things or, like, have degrees in psychology or something like that. Because there'll be a lot of dudes with fake degrees talking about this, that, the other thing. That's a lot of talk. And there's ones with women too, but again, the power dynamic. Like, we talked about this with Drew. It's like,
can't escape it.
And like, a lot of the stuff Drew, but it's like, she's only coming at men that be coming at women.
Exactly. And that's what she always says.
Like, these men just come at, like, any women. We have an episode actually coming up about, like, first date stuff. That's going to be our next episode, like, that viral thing. And these men made a, you know, because they get mad about everything, they made a list of all the stuff that, you know, or all the types of women that they wouldn't take on dates, and it's insane.
Right.
But we'll get into that in the next episode. So, number 3, she said, getting married and having a family doesn't mean love, devotion, or commitment for men. Literally, no. And that's so sad. Like, I remember seeing this one TikTok that was like men decide when they're ready to settle down. And, like, kind of how I was talking about earlier, where it's like, you know, men need to go through an X amount of relationships to realize when they're emotionally mature. And then the next woman that they end up with, they, like, marry because they're like, oh, like, this is how I do it.
My biggest nightmare.
And they're not driven by, like, love or, like, what. And that's terrifying. That is like so terrifying.
I know. It's like a goal. And it's also, like, I feel like it has to do with money, too. Like, I know with my ex specifically, he's like, I'm never going to marry someone unless I'm, like, rich and, like, can provide. Like, it's like they have to feel like they made it to a certain level. But it's, again, that's not about love. It's about, like, going through the steps. So
and that's such toxic masculinity, because it's like, the thing about, like, and we say this all the time, it's like we are down ass bitches and we're ride or dies for the people that we fucking love. So, like, regardless of what your financial standing at the point is, and most women, I really feel like, despite all the stuff that we say and like whatever, like, I honestly creds the women that are like, no, you need to spend like $2,000 on me before I fuck you the first time. Like, I've heard a lot of shit like that.
And it
like,
sounds like, whoa, like, your standards are too high. Like, that's crazy.
Right.
But it's really fine.
But it's really fine. But it's like, I feel like a lot of women, like, would fuck with you as long as you're building. As long as you treat them good as fuck and you're building. Like, that's, like, again, patriarchal shit that is not helpful for men or women.
Right.
Anyway, the last one is that men cannot be trusted to communicate directly. And I feel like this is the biggest one.
They don't know how to break up with people.
They don't.
And if they do break up with you, like, they do it in such a horrible way. It's all about communicating feelings. Like, breaking up with someone is, like, hard to do for every single person. Like, that's really hard. But do it, because it's worse to not do it. And it's like, they just, like, simply, it's not even like they're choosing not to do it. Like, I feel like they genuinely just don't even know, like, what words they would say.
Well, and I saw it because I was, like, in this loop because of my recent situationship breakup, But, like, I was, like, trying to figure out, why do men always come back? And I feel like this could be, like, another topic, like, later.
I don't want to hear. It makes me so anxious.
But like, it's pretty much that they can't deal with their emotions. Like, whereas we talk to our homegirls, we cry it out. Like, we're really fucking sad for the first 2 weeks to a month because we're processing our emotions. Versus men don't process, and then they just come back to the source of you to, like, make them, like, almost like an addiction. Like,
I remember, like, 3 days after my ex left me, he's like, you're still, like, you're so sad about it still, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, he would be like, you're so much better than this. Like, I fell in love with you because you're so blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, and now he's, like, blowing up my phone, telling me, you know what I mean? It's
but that's because, like, they're, like, they push it away. They don't think about it. They're living it up. They're fucking other bitches. They're doing whatever. And then they realize that they can't stuff it inside themselves.
Like, a year later sometimes.
And then they come back. Like, I had an ex, the one that I dated in college, he called me. Like, he texted me and then asked to talk on the phone. And I talked on the phone with him because I don't have any sort of, like, feelings for him at all anymore. Like, he was honestly probably the best of my exes, like, as far as, like, a good person goes.
Right.
Like, emotionally mature or whatever. And, like, we had a conversation, but I'm like, he has not dated anyone since me. And, like, it was giving, like, when we were talking, that he's still in love with me. And it's like, that's so crazy because it's been over, like, 4 or 5 years.
He's an attractive guy. Like, I don't understand. Like,
but it's like, men don't really know how to deal with that stuff. And I feel like he's more emotionally mature than a lot of guys that I know too. But, like, I think it takes them longer to, they don't know how to communicate, and they don't know how to deal with their fucking emotions. Like, it's actually,
and, like,
insane.
I've, like, never seen my ex cry type shit. And, like, he literally consistently tells me, like, the next time I see you, I know I'm going to break down. Like, because he's been holding it in, like, all this time. And I'm, of course, like, it's going to be okay, baby. Like, I'm just like, why am I making him?
But that's the thing, because it's like, we rarely see, like, a window into men's, like, actual emotions because they don't
So when they show it, I'm like,
and that's even, like, when I was having the conversation, like, with the dude that I just fucking ended shit with, like, it was, like, healthy in the way that, like, but when I think about it and step away from it, I'm like, I was really just talking him through the process and telling him it was okay to do this. Like, it was, like, me being emotionally mature and leading him to the point he wanted to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the, like, sad thing is, like, I feel like men need a woman to, like, coach them on this shit, which is hard because, like, I'm like, heartbroken. And I'm helping you choose the best for you.
And that's when the resentment comes in too, because after coaching you for so long and nothing's changing, like, I'm tired. Like,
because it's like you're doing the emotional labor for both of you. Emotional labor is fucking insane.
And it's honestly like, we carry it so well. Like, it's almost like I'm a pro at doing emotional labor for both of us now. Like, let's bring in a third to this relationship. I can take care of their shit too.
Like, and that's the thing is, like, y'all think this is strong, and it's so fucking weak. It's so weak. Like, Ew, goodbye.
I
But
know. Like,
she,
what is strength to you guys, bro? Because yeah,
I lift things.
I can't deadlift my own body weight. No, I can't. But like, I can like talk through my emotions, like identify what's unhealthy and like work through it. Like, fuck y'all.
You can handle the emotional burden and actually get over it. Like,
I mean,
hello.
I don't know if I can get over it though, because why am I still in love with all my exes?
Because I feel like you're a loving person.
Right. I think I am one of those people that loves a little bit too hard, but I also feel like I have so much love to give because I'm not giving enough of it to myself.
To yourself. But also, I feel like you also don't give yourself enough credit because, like, even with your ex, like, how you still be talking to him, like, you know. And even with the other one that, like, you were talking about recently, like, you know the boundary. Like, you know you're not going to meet up with him. You're not going to have sex with him. Like, you teeter on that line of, like, you know this is a little unhealthy.
I love it on the line.
But you still respect yourself enough to be like...
Right. And this man has showed up outside my apartment at least 4 times.
And you haven't gone outside.
And he's been like, I'm outside, want to go get a coffee. I'm outside, I want to see you.
And that's strength because with my ex, I would have fucking folded.
Right. Like, they're right outside.
Like that is fucking, that's honestly and that's why I feel like it's honestly kind of boss bitch. Like, as much as you want to say, like, I haven't gotten over it, like, da-da-da. Like, it is boss bitch to be like, you're kind of playing him in a way.
Because also when I think about it, it's like, do I really genuinely love him? Am I addicted to the love that we had that was toxic? Do I like the way he makes me feel? Like, all those things play in, because part of me is like, if I was genuinely in love with him, feel like I'm going to die without him, wouldn't I go running outside, like, in the fucking notebook and be like, I love you? But I haven't, because I think deep down I know that, like, I'm not going to be happy. This isn't a therapy session, though. Let's move on.
You're using the parts of it for yourself. Like, I honestly feel like you're fine. Like, like, is it ideal for you to, like, but going no contact is hard, but you're handling it in a good way. So,
yeah.
I feel like you're fine. But anyway, she captioned the TikTok, get that bread and leave. And that just ties back into what I was saying before about the transactional relationships. And we have a whole episode about that. But it's like, I really feel like women resort to the transactional relationships because we see that men cannot provide or meet us in the middle at all when it comes to emotional maturity.
Exactly. And men are the first ones to be like telling us we're so transactional too, which is like the funny part.
Like, no, like, literally fucking no. Like, you're mad when we don't have standards, and then you're mad when we do. So what the fuck? So last thing on this TikTok is just the comment section. And the top comment was, this is why it's crucial in capital letters to play the game sprinkle, sprinkle. And that had 35.1K likes. And, like, the sprinkle shit, like, sometimes I be even watching those videos like, damn, like, I feel you, but, like, I still want love from men. But again, resorting to transactional relationships because of this shit. It's not like women are just like, we just want transactional relationships and that's it.
It's what we're resorting to.
It's a direct response to that. And then the next one had even more likes, actually. You're going to end up alone. Think, quote unquote, you're going to end up alone. Thank goodness. And it's like, yeah, like, we would rather be alone than be with a partner.
Because that's what they always say, especially on Fresh and Fit. Like, they'll always be like, these types of women that expect the world and all the money, like, they're going to be alone. Like, it doesn't exist, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, thank God. Like, I love this tweet.
But, and the thing is, too, like, we as women, if there's one thing we can collectively do is leave those men alone too. Because I know all of us, maybe not all of us, to you bitches that haven't, congratulations to you. But like, we be fucking with misogynistic men because we really feel like it's like 85-90% of them. And we be letting it go. So like, we're like, you know, they'll end up alone, but they don't because, you know, like, we need to do better.
They get, you know, gender shit. They get this, but it's like the gay shit they don't get. But, you know, and it's like you have to, like, have a ranking. And it's just like, I can't.
Like, that's why I'm hoping, like, as this podcast gets bigger and shit, I hope it scares away the bad men and only the good
from
ones
ever coming into contact with me.
Like, you know who the fuck I am. Bye. And the last comment on this had 46.9K likes, actually the most out of all 3 of these comments. And it says,
What's worse is when you do break up with them and then they try to hurt you. And I'm saying, is she talking about when, like, you break up with someone and they start, like, insulting you type shit?
Yeah, or they're like, oh, I didn't even really like you like that anyway. Or like, Something
Right,
like that
yeah.
kind of thing. Or they try to get with your friend or like do some crazy shit, like on some emotionally immature shit. Yeah, I feel like that's what that's giving, because it's like, they want to break up, so you break up with them, and then they just hate you. So they're just
Right.
trying to hurt you.
Right. Um, okay, so I'm excited to get into the next part. So basically, women have their own little thread, bitch. And this one woman, specifically Bontel, who's also South African and like in the rugby space, just like skit guru, whatever the fuck the first guy was. And looking at her Twitter, like there's no like, men hating like fucking pop offs anywhere. There would be, it's totally fine if there was, but just for context, like this is not something that this person tweets about a lot, like a pretty regular Twitter. But basically, she tweeted that phase when you slowly start hating your boyfriend is crazy. The exact same way, just changing boyfriend. And fucking Skit Guru had like 111 million views, and Bontel only had 15.9. And this was tweeted like literally a day after, it looks like.
Yeah.
But not even, it was like at like 1 a.m. the next day. So it was like that night, essentially. And then some threads, like comments within, this woman said, when you start feeling Lady Danbury from Queen Charlotte. I don't know what that is.
I think that's from Bridgerton.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
I watched the first season. I think Lady Danbury is like the main bitch.
Yeah, we're not the ones to talk about that, but it's fine. And then Skate Guru commented, Bontel, don't do this, like crying emoji, but only got 700 likes. So like, fuck off. This is for women.
Right.
And then someone commented just like a bunch of like crying faces. And this woman said, when you start noticing the shape, size of his head. And why is that so true? That one made me laugh.
No, because I be doing that. Like, if a man does me dirty, I'll be like, actually, he's kind of ugly.
Actually, he's short. Yeah.
Like, actually, he's short. Like, actually, he doesn't even get money like that. But again, only in response to them being
right,
assholes.
because women are able to see past your fucking flaws and love you for who you are.
And then,
unlike y'all that like want to text from the different girl and not us, like,
right, because we be getting the ick on ourselves when you do us dirty. Like, damn, I really fucked with him like that. Like, what was wrong with me? Like,
and that is the worst. I hate that feeling when
Me
you're like,
too.
why did I do that to myself? Because it's like, do I hate myself? But it's like, no, you don't. You were just like optimistic about love.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. Like, it's honestly kind of a superpower in today's society. You feel me? This one also made me laugh. When he gets on top of you, feel like you're being held down by a sleep paralysis. That's just like, I don't know, that hits. And then this fucking idiot said, this man, this thread really proves to me that we have the worst batch of women. Bro, did you see the other tweets? We're not coming and spitting on people like.
And that's the thing, is like, this whole thread is directly in response to the man shit, and it still did not have nearly as like, I was literally searching this thread for more responses from women, and there were not that fucking many. Like, it's just like, because I swear, like, yeah, there be women out there that be, moving like men in this way where they'll stay with someone that they hate and be finessing and fucking dudes on the low. Like, definitely there's women like that, but I do feel like it's so imbalanced, like, where it's way more men that be hating women and doing this shit versus women. So like, all right, dude, why don't you go comment that to your homeboys in the other fucking thread?
I know, and it sucks. Like, I wish like more women were really like engaging in it, but I also feel like a lot of women know like they're just gonna get hate and like they don't want to go through that, like, you know what I mean? Like,
and women know the repercussions too. Like, it's like men be picking out anything about a woman to be like, she's for the streets, we can't fuck with her, like, da da da, she's the treesh, like, whatever. Like, no. So it's like, bye. But again, like, women will accept men, unfortunately, because we gotta do better, women. Like, we really gotta do. We're trying. We're building.
We don't want to be enablers. Like, that's the worst part. But it's also like part of the enabling is like kind of saving ourselves from heartbreak because you're not ready to end it. So it's like, it's on both of us. Like, they shouldn't be doing it in the first place. You know what I mean? There should be nothing to enable.
We need to raise our standards and make men rise to them, because at the end of the day, they're either going to become gay or they're going to realize that they have no fucking options. And, Whatever.
They're done.
Whatever. It's okay to be a bad bitch and be alone because you won't accept less. It's fine.
You're better off by yourself.
Right. But the last thing is just like an article about this, and it was just pretty much saying like men weren't just sharing quirks and traits they find unattractive in women. They were revealing how they see women as lesser too.
Exactly. Like I'm saying, like they're not treating us like human beings. Like they're treating us like these naggy people that always bring up like world issues and like just don't know their place. Like, what is our place?
What is
like,
our place?
Know your place. Like,
know your fucking place. Like one dude said, I hate when women act like they're so much simpler to get along with and men aren't. Like, it's like, again, goes back to the emotional, like, fucking maturity thing. Like, women know how to, like, relate on an emotional level and men don't. Like, that's just period. Another one said that women are boring and unfunny.
Which you hear that a lot.
Yeah, like,
Which is, like, who's, like, running comedy and, like, I don't really know much about it, but I definitely feel like in terms of, like, TV shows and, like, TikTok comedians, like, there's definitely way more women that are killing it. Like, because guys, they use the same tired joke, and it's like their jokes always revolve around like some misogynistic thing, like hating on fat women. Like it's always the same thing where it's like people like Drew, like she comes up with original ass insults, okay?
Right. And it's like you're gonna tell me that you've never laughed at a woman, like you're gonna just write off the whole fucking gender because what? Because
yeah, like calm down.
And then another one, like women are boring and have lame senses of humor. Men can make a boring time fun. IDK, that's just my experience.
Ew, just my experience? I don't like the way he said that.
Bye. Another said he messes up on purpose with girlfriends and gets them frustrated just to keep them from forgiving him. We kind of said that. And another man, this one is fucking scary. A man confessed that when they stop posting their girlfriend on social media, it's a sign they now hate them. And I've been in relationships before where I was like, why aren't you posting me? Like my ex would, every time we would fight, he would archive the post he had of me on our social media. And I'm like, why?
It's petty, first of all, is what it is. Like some people leave up pictures of their exes for eternity because it's like not petty. Like we had fun. Like let's just leave it up.
Right.
But I also feel like it's another dig at like kind of like appearance shit. Like you're not bad enough to be on my page. Like,
right.
And it's like that comes from like patriarchy. Like all women are just for their looks, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it's hard to just, that is kind of what it feels like. So they know that too. Or they want to
announce that they're single or like whatever. Like, I don't know. And another one said, you don't post me, a girl being like, you don't post me like you used to. You hate me. And he said, yeah, I do.
Okay. That's fucking terrifying, especially with like the younger like Gen Z people that are like even more chronically online than like we are and were. I feel like that's like a really big thing with them as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. But yeah, like to sum that all shit up, it's like, yeah, men just fucking hate women. I don't fucking know. Or at least these men. I know
this
better
is just
men
like,
out there.
There are better guys out there. Hopefully they're listening to this right now. Hi, thank you. We love you. But unfortunately, like this does blow up for a reason. You know what I mean? Enough people are like down with it. So it does lead me to think that this is the majority, like just statistically speaking. Like I know there's way more men than 15 million in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like obviously. It's still a really high number, and like it went so viral. So it's just like
it's depressing, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's transition into some listener stories. Again, follow us on Instagram at So Wet So Dry. You can submit stories for every episode, polls, all that shit. So this first listener said she got annoyed that I would text her. She said I was boring, but the sex was good. At least she was honest.
Damn, that's kind of rough, though. I mean, maybe, that's giving breakup or cut it off because she wasn't good for you.
Right, exactly. This next listener said, I was so pissed when I saw that thread. Only I'm allowed to hate my partner. They can't hate me.
And that's a mood.
Bitch, yeah, feel you. Like, I know it's like as a woman reading that, it definitely like really hits. Like even though we don't know any of those men, like we don't like feel like singled out, but it's just like, damn, like It's just crazy.
The next one, she said, anytime I caught him looking at me smiling, he looked so ugly I got the ick. I'm fucking dead, bro. That's honestly
Like, that's hilarious.
See, are we fucked up for saying that? Like,
here's what I think.
Yeah.
I think it all comes back to the power dynamics. Like I said, her saying this about men doesn't mean they still don't make more money than us. So, yes, words hurt, but it's not having a global impact.
Right.
Whereas said Twitter thread does, because it's encouraging all these guys to act out and be misogynistic, which, you know, yeah, it's a double standard, but I'm thinking it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, next one.
Every time he made a joke and laughed at himself, it made me cringe. Yeah, I feel like when anyone does that, sometimes it's kind of cringe.
I've been there with like dudes before when I'm like especially once they piss me off and I got to that era of being like, you know, like I have resentment towards them, and then like I used to laugh at their jokes and be like, oh my god, daddy, but then like that's worn off and I realize that you're actually a toxic individual. Not funny.
Exactly.
I don't have the energy to muster up a fucking laugh, you dickhead. Like, bye.
I know. This one says he got out the car with his ass crack out, which, yeah, that's just, I hate seeing that in general everywhere. This next one is, he used to play his music in the car every time and would sing along and sign to it. It was trash. What does she mean sign to
like
it?
Like gang signs and shit?
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, I would get annoyed, honestly, with the last dude I was fucking with. I'm like, all right. Like, I, like, fuck with Future. I fuck with Travis Scott. I fuck with that shit, like, on a time. But I'm like, all the time we're listening to that at, like, 1 p.m. on a Saturday to the grocery store. Like, can we play some indie shit? Like,
we get it. We
get it. You're a pimp. Okay.
This next one was found out he watches DJ Academics, spelled AKA.
Okay. Low-key, I have a story about this one. I told you about this before. So this dude I was fucking with, this one dude, was watching DJ Academics, like, on some podcast shit, and I had never really heard of him before. So I'm like, okay, cool, like, whatever. He pretty much talks about, like, pop culture and, like, music and, like, whatever. He's big on YouTube, like, just regular dude. Like, I don't know if there's anything
familiar,
inherently misogynistic or fucked up about him. His voice is kind of annoying, but anyway, like, he was talking about the Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez shit, and with another dude, and it was triggering me because I've been in an abusive relationship, guys, and I was like, can you, like, turn it off? Like, I don't want to watch this. And he was insistent upon fucking watching it. So my visions of DJ Academics are really not a vibe. Fuck that. Bye. Men with podcasts.
That's literally horrible. And it's like, on top of that, like, your situation with this person, it was like you had already had, like, you know, like, intense discourses about this sort of thing. And then he's just, like, openly playing it. It's like, do you listen to me when I talk?
And then when I brought it up and I was like, look, this is, like, triggering me. I don't really want you to be listening to this while I'm making breakfast for us right now. Like, he was like, oh, like, you can't just be triggered by everything you hear. Like, what if you are in the grocery store and someone triggers you? Like, I'm like, no, that's completely different than we're in my home.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? Are you trying to give me exposure therapy? Like, don't act like that's what's going on.
Right. And, like, he would be mad anytime I talked. Like, anyway, bye. Respect your partner. If they're triggered, don't do that shit.
Right. Okay, and this last listener said would talk out loud to himself, which honestly, you guys, I talk out loud to myself constantly.
All the time.
But not when I'm with other people.
I do. Especially if we're getting ready to leave. I'm like, okay,
yeah, because you be asking questions that no one knows.
I'm not even asking anyone. I'm asking myself.
Right. But I feel like
it's an ADHD thing, I swear to God, because it's like I'm like trying to get my brain in order. So it's like stimming.
Say it out loud and like
you like I process it better. So yeah, I'm fucking guilty of that shit. But
I could
my
see
ex
how
would
that
do
would
that
be, like,
too, though. He would do that shit. When we would fight, he would go in the other room and like fucking make music on his phone and then like laugh to himself about the bar he just created, and I'd just be in the other room like fuming.
That.
I'm like, you you're just so
like you're 2 feet away from me still. Like
right. It
this
is
clearly
performative.
an
Like
act.
bye. Like
Yeah.
goodbye. All right, guys. So let's wrap up the episode how we always do, talking about what we're wet, dry, and confused about the whole topic. And I'll start us off with what I'm wet about. Honestly, not fucking much. Like, I feel like this is pretty depressing. It dries the fuck up out of my pussy. But if anything, I'm just wet about women coming together and like talking about this shit and like also realizing their power and like the women who have left their boyfriends over this and like raise their standards and like realize that men are emotionally immature and just being like, okay, like let's collectively as women raise our standards and not tolerate this shit.
Yeah, I'm wet that there was like a woman's response and whatever. And like, I'm wet that like even after all this bullshit, it's like me and you are able to kind of just be like, no, there still are good men out there, because I feel like if we were 19 and in college, like we already hated them. Like I don't know. It just like, I do like hate the system as well. But like, I do feel like there are good men out there. So like, that's something I'm wet about, even with something as tragic as this.
Yeah.
But I feel like the dry, like obviously I'm dry about men's inability to communicate their feelings, like dry about how proud and freely they just, you know, are misogynistic on the internet and don't care if anyone sees and like get 111 million views and like just like they're being confirmed that like, yeah, it is okay that we're like this, like we're all like this. But so it's just disgusting. It really is giving Andrew Tate like hard.
Yeah, I'm definitely dry about just like how so many men, unfortunately, like if they're not directly commenting in the Twitter thread, like they're maybe liking it or like giggling about it by themselves because they can relate, because so many men are like emotionally immature and they don't know how to deal with this shit. And again, it falls on the burden of women to unfortunately be fucking single and alone, because that's the only option if we don't want to deal with this shit. And that's sad, because we do want sex and relationships and all of these things, and it like it's just, it feels like parenting a child. Like that's what it feels like, and that is really dry. That's not fucking sexy. That's not hot. I want men to be better.
I feel like I'm confused how men still haven't understood that like if they unlearn their toxic masculinity and like show up the way women deserve, like they will get their dick sucked constantly. Can you just like, y'all already get your dick sucked. Like, imagine how, like, much better it would be, like, if you just, like, it's just, yeah.
And that's the thing, like,
I'm confused.
Men, do you realize how fucking freaky bitches will be for you if you just unlearn your toxic masculinity and, like, treat women like whole human beings? Like,
and be submissive if that's what you're into and they're into, like, you know, role play shit. Like, we can be misogynistic in the bedroom if it's consensual.
Yeah, we can have some fucking, like, yeah, I'm a little slut, you're like the dom daddy, da-da-da. We could fuck crazy on that shit. But as long as you respect me as a human being in our relationship.
Outside of that, it's like, just going to get even better. You know what I mean?
So much better. I'm confused about the same thing. Like, I feel like men have, like, all the tools at their fucking disposal, but I'm just confused about, like, why it takes them so long to fucking get it and when they're going to realize that, like, this is not good for themselves, their relationships, women, anyone else involved. And I don't know, like, I am still confused a little bit about, like, the people that replied to the thread, because it's like, at the end of the day, we don't know the backstory of every person and, like, where they're coming from.
Could be a rapist, multiple.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't know. And, like, also, like, I feel like as many views and replies as there is, like you said, like, we still want to believe there's a good portion of men that aren't like this. And it's so hard with social media because we always, like, uplift the voices of the polarized opposites.
Yeah.
And focus in on that, and then it becomes this war against men and women, and I really don't want it to be like that. Like,
and so many men think we do want it to be like
we don't. Like, I think there is, like we said, a fundamental flaw among all men, just like there is with white people, where you need to unlearn it. But, like, I really just,
like, we're not happy, like, demanding you pay for the drinks. Like, it's not fun. You know what I mean? Like, this whole thing, like, yeah, it's just, and that the inability to see that. That's what I'm confused about. I don't get how they can't see that collectively.
I wish we could do, like, a survey of the fucking world and every man and woman about some of these gender issues and be like, all right, what really are the stats? Because I feel like
This is why we went to Emerson College, because we want to do things like that, bro.
Like, I really want to know.
Seriously, like, that would be amazing. Like, and that's why, you know, other than, like, obvious things, we want our community to grow, because the conversation will get better if there's more people involved. So please, if you guys are still listening at this point, please go follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We do post the polls on Instagram and stuff, but we would really, really appreciate and like be honored to have your contribution in our convos and shit. Yeah. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. I feel like, let us know what you guys thought, you know, after listening to this episode, or just about the whole thing in general. Comment below wherever you are, subscribe or follow us. We're on all social media platforms. And yeah, we would love to have you in the community of confused pussies.
We also have listener support on Spotify, 99 cents, $4.99, or $9.99 a month. It really helps us pay for all of our stuff. We really want to do a trip soon with guests and in-person episodes. So all of that really contributes, you know, to our growth. And again, we have a contest running. So if you guys subscribe, like Autumn said, follow or rate us, you can be entered in our contest to win $100. We're pulling the winners on Thanksgiving. And yeah, catch us in our next episode. We love you so much. Bye. When he told me he thought he had chlamydia, but only because he shared a cup with one of his friends at a party.
And he hid his Instagram story from me, and I found out it was because he was in a limo with another bitch.
When I woke up from a nap and walked into my living room, and he was watching YouTube videos with a different bitch on my couch.
When she was being really touchy with someone who she claimed was just her really close friend, and then you later found out that they've kissed before.
When I had to bail him out of jail for the 3rd time.
When he told me that he never cuddles after having sex.
He wouldn't let me go to his place because his living situation was complicated.
When the first time I was about to meet up with him, he said he was going to pick me up at 12, and he ended up coming at 4 a.m.
When he was on his drug dealer shit, so I got him a play, but he sold my coworker an Advil claiming it was Molly.
When I saw him watching the podcast Fresh and Fit.
When he told me that it's in men's biology to need multiple women, and also told me that men understand women better than we understand ourselves.